Hello and welcome to the next episode of CrocBITE. My name is Brandon Sidlow, and it's been a while since our last episode. That's because I've been traveling. I've been in Mexico. I was in Mexico for about a month, and then I was in Brazil for about almost 2 months. So I've been out and about doing stuff, all crocodile related. While I was in Mexico, I went to Puerto Vallarta, and I spent some time there taking photos of crocodiles and relaxing. And then I went to Tamaulipas, Mexico, to Tampico City, and I visited Laguna Carpintero. And the lagoon has a large population of Morlet's crocodiles. I believe there's a few hundred in the lagoon itself. Now, this lagoon is significant because not only does it have a large population of Morlet's crocodiles, there's also a very high level of human-crocodile conflict around the lagoon. In October of 2020, a man was killed while swimming in the lagoon. I visited in May 2021, and then in June of 2021, a woman was killed. And you can see there's a lot of photos online, very unpleasant photos showing the crocodile swimming around with the woman in its mouth, and a lot of other stuff. The crocodile was captured. It was about 10 feet long, 3 meters. And it's a very bizarre situation because that's not the kind of behavior you typically expect from a Morlet's crocodile, but it does happen, and it happens most often in this part of Tamaulipas, more than anywhere else. And actually, this lagoon has the highest level of conflict per area, based on our data in CrocBITE, for anywhere in the New World, at least within the past decade or so. So it's a very significant situation. It's very interesting because it's not something you usually see. While I was there, I took photos of the crocodiles. I saw a lot of crocodiles. I walked around the whole lagoon. I talked to people, and I spent a lot of time with Cesar Leal, who is a local crocodile specialist, and he's doing a lot of work there with the crocodiles, studying them, trying to, he's taking surveys of the lagoon, trying to mitigate human-crocodile conflict. And I think he's starting to really make headway doing that, but he needs some help. So hopefully in the future we can get some stuff going, hopefully get him some help down there, do some fundraising for him and stuff like that. But it's really a great project because they really need to mitigate human-crocodile conflict in this area because it's getting very high, and they also want to protect the crocodiles. So there's a balancing act, which is anywhere where large predators and humans are living alongside each other, you're going to have conflict. So this is an area where we really need to focus some effort on mitigation. So anyways, I'm not going to talk too much because we have a guest. We have Marisa Tellez from the Crocodile Research Coalition in Belize, and she's going to talk a bit about the community awareness they've been doing in Belize, how they've been working with the communities to protect crocodiles, crocodile conservation, mitigation of human-crocodile conflict, cultural associations with crocodilians, the whole gamut of things. And she has a lot to say, so I'm going to go ahead and let her get to that. I'm only going to talk about one thing beforehand. I'm going to talk a bit about what has been happening in Latin America and Mexico. Well, Mexico is part of Latin America, but Mexico, Central America, and South America over the past year. Okay, so before we get to Marisa, I just want to talk a bit about the human-crocodile conflict situation in Mexico. Now, this year we haven't had a lot of deaths in Mexico. We had the fatal attack in Tampico, but there hasn't been much else. However, there have been 3 very high-profile attacks on tourists, and so that's very important because they get a lot of media exposure, and they get a lot of negative exposure to crocodiles. And a lot of things are said that it may even impact local conservation efforts. So I want to talk a bit about how those attacks could have been avoided. So the first incident occurred in Oaxaca state in early June, and it involved 2 sisters that were swimming in a lagoon in coastal Oaxaca state, and one of them was pretty severely attacked by an American crocodile, and her sister saved her but was also mildly injured while trying to rescue her. The woman who was severely injured, she suffered perforated bowel and a lot of other really nasty injuries, but she did survive, thankfully, and she's okay now. But this incident could have easily been avoided. Apparently, they said they were under the, I guess, supervision of a German guide who they claimed was shady. So, and from what I've read about him, he seems pretty shady, and he kind of evacuated the country after the incident. So that's a little bit suspicious. But anyways, so they were with a guy who probably didn't know anything about the area and didn't know what he was doing. They were swimming in an area which was known to be unsafe. The crocodiles were known to be in this area. It was far away from the known safe swimming areas. So basically, if you're going down to Mexico or any tropical place, first of all, check online to see if there are crocodiles in the area, or sharks, or any other large predators. But crocodiles are the ones you want to look into the most, because in a lot of these tropical areas, crocodiles are very common. Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, pretty much almost everywhere in tropical Mexico except for Cabo San Lucas, you're going to find crocodiles of some species. So you want to be on the lookout, and that's the same throughout Central America and South America, and even parts of the Caribbean, Cuba, Jamaica, and to a lesser extent Haiti and Dominican Republic. They're pretty rare in those two places. But you're going to see them in a lot of places, especially Florida, Florida Keys, all those areas that people visit for spring break, for summer break, have crocodilians, so you want to be careful. Secondly, make sure you're with a tour guide who is a local, who is reputable, and even in those two cases, you want to do your own research. Make sure you're going to a place where there aren't any crocodiles. If you're going to be swimming in mangroves, if you're going to be swimming in an estuary, you are in danger, potentially in danger. A lot of people do it and a lot of people get away with it, but there is always the risk. American crocodiles may not be as aggressive as, say, the Nile crocodile, the saltwater crocodile, but they still can and do kill people. So you need to be careful. So let's get on to the next incident. The next incident I know about occurred in Cancun. Now, I don't have as many details on this incident because they didn't release as much, and even some of the aftermath was changed. The details of the aftermath were changed as time went on. So a boy was attacked on a golf course in Cancun near the Club Med Hotel, and he sustained an injury to his leg. And it turned out the initial reports claimed that he lost his leg during the attack, and then later on they said he lost it in surgery. It turns out neither of those are true. He didn't lose his leg. He ended up being okay. And the exact circumstances are also pretty unclear. One article claims that he tried to climb a fence to get into an area where there were mangroves and wild crocodiles were present. Other people said that no, he didn't climb a fence. It was just, in the area. I believe he was on the golf course, which is a common place for attacks in Cancun. There have been a lot of attacks on golf courses in Cancun. Usually there's something that could have led to the attack happening, such as either people feeding the crocodiles or people, trying to get close to them for photos or trying to touch them or something like that. I'm not sure what the situation is here, so I'm not going to speculate about anything, whether the kid was close to the crocodile or not. It was an American crocodile, which can also be difficult to tell in Cancun because there are American crocodiles in Cancun, there are Morlet's crocodiles in Cancun, and there are hybrids of the two species in Cancun as well. As a matter of fact, I've heard that most of the crocodiles there are hybrids, but from what I've been told, this crocodile, at least from a phenotypic standpoint, a visual standpoint, was an American crocodile. So anyways, this kid was injured, possibly severely, but he did not lose his leg. But this is another attack that could have been avoided. Parental supervision. Make sure your kids are not playing around mangroves or any area that has water in an area known to have crocodiles. If you're visiting to Cancun, know this: there are crocodiles in almost every water body. There are crocodiles in the Chupte Lagoon. There are crocodiles on most of the golf courses. Okay, the crocodiles are going to be around. American crocodiles and Morlet's crocodiles both can attack people, especially children. Children are at a much greater risk from any crocodile species than adults. Some crocodile species that are not dangerous to adults can be dangerous to children. So you want to keep that in mind when you have your kids in these areas. And then the last attack occurred in Puerto Vallarta. Now, I'm very familiar with this area where it occurred in front of the Marriott Hotel in the ocean. Previously, there had been a non-fatal attack in the same spot. And I think I know which crocodile was responsible. I've seen him wandering from the estuary further down the beach, Boca Negra estuary. Any of you who follow me on Instagram or on Facebook will be familiar with my photos from Boca Negra estuary. And it's possible that the crocodile responsible is one of the crocodiles in my photos. So that crocodile at night will leave the estuary and walk into the ocean. I've actually seen him do this. He will go into the ocean, and he has been photographed attacking sea turtles in the ocean, and he will go up and down the coastline at night. To the best of my knowledge, he has never been seen during the day doing that. So that gets to my point. The woman who was attacked was swimming at night. The previous woman who was also attacked was also swimming at night. Don't swim at night in areas that may have crocodiles. Okay, I know that a lot of people that go down to Puerto Vallarta, they want to go swim in the ocean at night. That's not safe even without crocodiles. There's sharks, there's riptides, there's all kinds of nasty things that can occur. Adding crocodiles into the mix is just another thing. Don't go swimming at night. There aren't lifeguards out there. It's just not a wise idea. Crocodiles are not. But yes, there are crocodiles there. And again, this is another example of people just not being aware of the animals in the places they're going. American crocodiles, like the saltwater crocodile, they are not saltwater crocodiles, but like the saltwater crocodile from Australia, Indonesia, etc., American crocodiles will swim in the ocean and they will cruise the coastline and they live in estuaries. And Puerto Vallarta has a very large population of American crocodiles relative to other areas. And some very large individuals, which is great. I love it. That's the reason I go there. But you want to be careful. And the hotels closer to the airport are closer to the estuary, because the estuary is right next to the airport. So crocodiles are going to be much more common coming along the beach there, because they also come from the golf course there. So you have a much higher chance of running into them in those areas. So you want to be careful.
Hi, I'm Dr. Marisa Tellez, and I am the Executive Director as well as the co-founder of the Crocodile Research Coalition based in southern Belize. In Belize, human-crocodile conflict, it's not as common. For example, last year in 2020, we only had 2 crocodile attacks. One of them was provoked by 2 drunk guys jumping in and wanting to try to catch a 1.2 meter crocodile. That was a little bit their fault. But what we do see in regards of conflict, it's more of people attacking crocodiles. There's a lot of false information, misguided beliefs about crocodiles. And part of the mission of the Crocodile Research Coalition, the CRC, is squashing those misguided beliefs, those false facts, to try to promote coexistence with these animals through education. And via education, it's community involvement. Something that I love to tell people, because it kind of gets lost in the world of conservation, is that conservation is not just about wildlife, it's about people. If you want a successful, long-term conservation program, you need community involvement. And that is something that we have seen that has escalated the progress and making a lot of forward steps in regards of crocodile conservation in Belize. When I first started the CRC several years ago, I would get a lot of crocodile calls, problematic crocodiles. I'll never forget this one woman calling, and she's like, "Marisa, I see a crocodile." Okay, what is it doing? It's swimming. Is it swimming towards you? Has anyone fed it? Has anyone thrown food scraps into the water where it's being attracted towards you? No, no, no. It's swimming, and it's swimming away from us. And it's like, yes, yes, that's what we want. The American crocodile, it's generally very timid and shy and wants to get away from people. But again, everyone has these false fears, these misguided beliefs about crocodiles. A lot of it is through dramatization from the movies, as well as just social media and news media in general. And it was really then that I realized that, yes, we need to do the research. The research is important to understand what the population is, get some more information about ecology and dispersal. But if we really want to mitigate any negative human-crocodile interactions, as well as really establish long-term conservation as well as management. Because I see the CRC, we are just a catalyst. What is going to ensure long-term conservation and management of crocodiles and their habitat in a certain area, as well as, again, what's going to mitigate any negative interactions between human and crocodiles. It's the community. It's community involvement, and that means educating the community. So the CRC, we started going out to schools. We started going out to all the different community events. And even when we went to the schools, it's not, okay, we're gonna go to this one school and maybe we'll revisit it in a few years. No, 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 no. We had to really pound in the education, make it continuous. So we were going to a lot of the schools in this particular area 3 times a year. So not only are these kids seeing us at their school multiple times a year, but they're also seeing us at all these community events. We're also, every day on social media, we were posting something about crocodiles and sharing it on the various Facebook community pages. We were writing articles for the newspaper, the local newspaper especially. We were really trying to get the correct information out there so that people are educated in how to coexist with these animals. And this, we started to see, this actually really worked. I'll never forget, I was walking on the street and some woman pulls up next to me and she said, "Are you the Croc lady?" I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? You know, what animal are they gonna ask me to remove, or I'm just gonna have to educate? And she said, I just wanna let you know that there's a crocodile that's been coming to our yard and basking the last couple weeks. And I was just I was like, oh wow, she used basking, fantastic. And she said, my 5- and 7-year-old taught me that animal comes out in the morning to bask. When it's opening its mouth, it's not being aggressive, it's just thermal regulating. And my kids wanted me to find you so that you can come over, catch the animal, not to remove, but to tag it for local conservation efforts. I was absolutely blown away. This was amazing. And now these 2 kids have, they have created, in a sense, they've helped us create our local community science program with a 7-foot crocodile known as Jeff. And through these kids, with their own behavioral notebook, they now know that Jeff, 10 days before the full moon, Jeff comes out to feed, and he likes to eat raccoon, he likes to eat iguana. And because of these 2 kids becoming our local junior crocodile experts and our first community scientists, we can now tell the neighborhood that lives in the area of Jeff, hey, it's 10 days before the full moon, this is when Jeff is really active. And so if you have small pets, small children, those early mornings, early evenings, make sure that you keep your pets and your children far from the canal water, just again, to ensure the safety of your loved ones. And so through this education, now people understand, oh, it's about 10 days. And of course, we always communicate with the neighborhoods, hey, it's that time that Jeff likes to feed. And so this has mitigated negative human-crocodile interaction, in particular neighborhoods in the Placencia Lagoon. Now, Jeff became a little superstar, and everyone was like, well, we want a neighborhood crocodile. So now we have Mrs. Rogers as well. We have Chupacabra, because this particular crocodile likes to eat stray cats, which some people like. And so we've kind of built this interest. And so now we're building this community science program. And our star for our community science program, the star Croc, is Charlie. Charlie is about 14 feet. And he's kind of our Nessie in regards of Nessie from Loch Ness in Scotland. He's kind of this superstar. And so people that live around the lagoon, when they see Charlie, you know, it's not like 7 years ago when if they saw Charlie, oh my God, it's a 14-foot croc. You know, please remove it. It's gonna eat my children. It's gonna eat my dogs. I'm gonna find it up my patio because it's gonna want to eat me. Now we have excitement. We have people, I saw Charlie in this state, at this location, and he was doing this. And so now we're even gathering more information because the CRC, we're a small team. We can't be everywhere, and we're trying to collect as much data as we can. But now we have these other crocodilian enthusiasts in around Placencia Lagoon that's really helping us with our mission to promote and further crocodile conservation around the Placencia Lagoon as well as in Belize. One thing I always like to tell my employees, or something I just reiterate a lot, is that conservation is not just about wildlife, it's about people. If we want to ensure the success of long-term conservation management, we have to involve the people. And involving the people is also education. And a particular group that us conservationists like to focus on are the children. They are the future environmental leaders, and it's amazing to see the influence that children can have on adults. They can have a positive influence on adults. And another way we have tried to promote coexistence, promote tolerance of crocodiles, and in a sense even try to assist in, again, mitigating that human-crocodile conflict is by creating a youth wildlife program known as Next Gen Croc. And honestly, this is probably my favorite program in regards to the CRC. And so we have about 5 to 6 students, anywhere from the ages of 10 to 16, that come out with us on our surveys. They have come out with us during our nocturnal eyeshine surveys, our capture surveys. They've helped us with our drone surveys, as well as our biodiversity surveys of the Placencia Lagoon. So now you have these voices that go out into the community and are telling people, oh yeah, we went on this nocturnal eyeshine, we went on this capture survey, and they provide them their experience and also assist us. The kids also assist us in our educational outreach when we have community events. And so you have key members and lovers of the environment that are going out and further spreading the truth and the facts about crocodiles. And we have also seen that through this Next Gen Croc program, it has also greatly assisted in ensuring that communities are gaining education about crocodiles. And a really great example of this is that there was one community, anytime they saw a crocodile, they would actually just kill it. That was it, just fear. But they started to hear about these little junior croc experts in the area. And now what we're seeing is they'll go down the street, knock on the door, hey Preston, I heard that you do something with crocodiles. Well, there's a crocodile in this one canal. Can you actually come and, can you come and get it? Or can you call your supervisor per se, or your mentor to help come remove it? And so with these voices, we are now again seeing that people, instead of just killing, they're willing to give these crocodiles a second chance, even if it does mean removal. Now, crocodiles connected to the underworld, and that's because you can still find crocodiles in caves, which was the entrance to the underworld, to Xibalba. We still find crocodiles in caves today. And the Mayan believed that if they saw a crocodile in a cave, the crocodile was waiting. It was waiting for the spirit of someone who had just recently passed away. And the crocodile would then lead that spirit to the underworld, to the spirit world. And so with that, crocodiles were very much revered because, again, they connected the 3 planes of the entire earth: the heavens, Middle Earth, and the underworld. And so by providing this information during our educational outreach, you do see with many people that there's this light bulb that goes off to understand that, wow, the Mayans had this severe respect for crocodiles. And with that, that has gained more of an interest from local communities and wanting to understand more about crocodiles, why they're important. And with that education, you also start building a little bit more of tolerance. So in summary, and I'll reiterate again, conservation is not just about wildlife, it is about people. If we want long-term, successful conservation programs, we have to involve people. It includes education. And the CRC, what we have seen is through our educational programs, whether it be through our Next Gen Croc Youth Wildlife Group, whether it's through our community science program, whether it's us actually going out to schools, to communities. And during this COVID time, COVID did not stop, did not stop us. We actually connected with schools through Zoom sessions. We sent out a lot of educational material to various school groups, through WhatsApp groups. Just because we were not able to educate face-to-face, we went outside the box, got creative to try to reach people. And so through this educational outreach, as well as trying to partner up with media sources, trying to get something out there in social media or in the news media at least once a month or every other month to really continuously educate, especially the local communities around Placencia Lagoon. We have seen a decrease in human-crocodile conflict and an increase in an interest in crocodile conservation, as well as conservation of their habitat. So education is key. And I promise if you educate, if you put that effort in there, you will see a positive difference.